One of the most frequently asked questions that we have at SOS Inventory is how to get started, especially if you're a new QuickBooks Online user or you already have a QuickBooks Online account and you're connecting to SOS Inventory for the first time. Well, what do you do first? And that's, again, a very common question that we get here at SOS Inventory, and so today's video is going to show you how to get started in the process and go from there. And really, getting started with SOS Inventory is a three-step process, and throughout this process we're going to assume that you've already created an SOS Inventory account. If you have not and you need to create one first, you can go to our website at www.sosinventory.com and sign up for a free 30-day trial account. But again, this tutorial assumes that you've already done that. And when you connect when you create an SOS account for the first time, you'll end up on a screen that looks something like this. It'll have the QuickBooks or the SOS Inventory homepage and the most recent news that we always post on the homepage and your menus here at the top and so forth. And from there, once you get logged in, there's three key steps that it takes to get up and running with SOS Inventory. The first thing is establishing a connection to QuickBooks Online, if you decide to do that. The second is configuring your SOS Inventory account to match the specific needs of your business. And the third step is running through some sample transactions or verifying the business workflow of SOS Inventory and making sure that it's going to meet your needs. And once you've gotten to that point, you're kind of up and running and started and ready to start importing data or entering data as needed. So the first step, again assuming you've already got your SOS account set up, is to make a connection to QuickBooks. Now, a connection to QuickBooks Online is simply an authorization or permission for SOS to communicate with QuickBooks Online on your behalf. And so if you have an active connection already, which many times you will if you've already connected directly from QuickBooks to SOS when you created the account, if you have an active connection, you'll see that you have a sync button right here. And this account does have an active connection. If you do not have an active connection, you will not see that sync button over by the print button, and that means that you would want to create a connection if you're going to be exchanging data with QuickBooks. Now, exchanging data with QuickBooks is not required, but again, that might be something that you want to do just to if you're going to exchange data and again take advantage of the keys that SOS Inventory has to offer. So if you need to create a connection, and again on this account no sync button, so I don't have a connection yet, you would click this QuickBooks button and you would see options that look like this, where you've got a button that says connect to QuickBooks, and if you connect that, then you'll get a sign-in screen with QuickBooks where you can sign in and give SOS permission to access your account. Again, that would be your Intuit or your QuickBooks sign-in, and you walk through that process and then you will have an active connection. Once you have an active connection, it will look like this. You'll have the sync button and you'll have menus there now on the QuickBooks menu. So once you make that first connection, SOS will begin retrieving all your data from QuickBooks, and it'll retrieve your items and your vendors and your customers and your accounts and so forth during the first synchronization. You can keep working while it's synchronizing the first time as it's pulling down all of your data. So the second step in getting started with SOS Inventory, once you've got your connection to QuickBooks, is making sure that all the settings are configured the way you want them. SOS gives you 5 different settings pages that you can configure. There's company settings, sync settings, purchasing settings, inventory settings, and sales settings. And for example, on the company settings page, if I go to admin, account maintenance, company settings, you will see that we can add a logo, header information. I can select my home currency if I'm going to do multi-currency, the number of lines on transactions and by default, and so forth. My synchronization settings, QuickBooks Data Exchange sync settings, and I can specify how often I want to sync with QuickBooks Online, whether I want data to flow one direction or both, and so forth. Inventory settings has a lot of different settings in terms of how you want the inventory to work in SOS. One common setting that we see a lot, people wanting to control whether or not negative inventory is allowed, so you can set those types of things. In general, though, there's lots of different settings with an explanation for each one here, as well as in the user guide, and it's simply determining how you want SOS to behave, and you can configure it for what works best for your business. And you also have sales, and then administration sales settings, and purchasing administration purchasing settings. And you can set all those configurations as well. Also, in your setup process, there are many different default accounts that you'll use. These are when SOS needs to post to QuickBooks for some reason. You can set defaults so that SOS will know how to behave when you create a new item that you haven't specified any accounts before. For example, here in inventory settings, you can specify default income accounts, asset accounts, and cost of goods sold accounts. Again, there's a complete list of these in the user guide, but you definitely want to set these up just so that you make sure you don't get random postings to a checking account or some other account that you don't have that shouldn't be posting inventory data. Now, the third step after connecting to QuickBooks and configuring SOS with the different settings, the third step is to verify that your business process and workflow will work with SOS inventory. And so this is going to be very unique to every business. And the good thing about SOS is it's sophisticated enough to handle lots of different workflows. So what you want to do is to take your workflow and run it through SOS and see if it's going to work for you or not. And you would so perhaps enter purchase orders or sales orders or invoices, whatever your business process is. Then you would examine what happened in SOS and in QuickBooks Online and verify that everything is working the way you want it to. And you kind of repeat that process and use that as you go through your evaluation of SOS inventory, and then by the end you'll have a good feel for whether or not you want to use it in your business going forward. As you go through that process, there's going to be a lot of times you're going to run into questions about the way something works. If you need assistance as you go through that process, please contact us and we'll be happy to help. There's several different options that you can use. We do have a user guide available via the help page up here in the top right corner of your screen, and there's help there, as well as in most places where you need to input data in the system, you'll also see inline help that will have additional instructions there. So both of those provide documentation for you. If you need additional help beyond that, you can use the tutorial videos that are available on our website, www.sosinventory.com, and then you can also contact us if needed. In terms of contact, email is always going to be the fastest way to contact us. The email address is support@sosinventory.com. That address is monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So even evenings or weekends or what have you, you can send an email and we can still get back to you on that. Typical response time is less than an hour, although it can take up to 24 hours in some cases. If you haven't gotten a response within 24 hours, usually that means the email didn't come through for some reason and you can send it again. And also we do offer phone support for those of you on the Plus or Pro plans. Phone support is available Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock Central Time in the U.S. If you need phone support, you can dial 1-888-545-4146 and choose option 2. Again, though, email support tends to be preferable because it's easier to log cases and keep a record of everything that you've got going on in those cases. But again, either method will work. So we also have on the on our help page and in the user guide, we also have a list of frequently asked questions that covers most of the common issues that we see for people implementing SOS and QuickBooks Online. So take a look at those also if you have questions. And just to sort of recap, we talked about getting started with SOS inventory in QuickBooks Online by connecting to QuickBooks from SOS, then setting up SOS with the proper settings, and finally verifying your business workflow in SOS inventory. And the combination of those three things will get you up and running. And if you have any questions, contact support at sosinventory.com and we'll be happy to help. Thanks and have a great day.